Family, friends and fans have paid tribute to legendary Hollywood actor Tony Curtis, who's died in his Las Vegas home.
Imagine a love story so electric it lit up Hollywood's golden age, only to crash in a blaze of secrets and betrayal. Tony Curtis and Janet Leigh, the perfect couple hiding a bombshell that would shatter their world. What if one letter found on a quiet night in 1955 didn't just spark a fight but unraveled a web of jealousy, obsession, and hidden lives that even Tinseltown couldn't script? From their meteoric rise to the gut-wrenching fallout, their saga holds a twist so shocking it's been buried for decades. Did Tony's paranoia destroy their fairy tale? Or was Janet guarding a secret of her own? You won't believe what's coming. Stick around, because this Hollywood roller coaster is about to take you somewhere you never expected, and the truth will leave you speechless. Tony Curtis, born Bernard Schwartz in the Bronx in 1925, didn't have an easy start. Growing up dirt poor with Hungarian Jewish immigrant parents, he faced a childhood shadowed by his mother's mental health struggles and the devastating loss of his younger brother killed by a truck. Sent to an orphanage at age 10 because his family couldn't afford to feed him, Tony learned early how to survive. Fast forward to post-World War II, he used the GI Bill to study acting in New York, catching a talent agent's eye with his striking looks. By 1948, he was in Hollywood, transformed into the suave Tony Curtis, a far cry from the bullied kid with long braids. Janet Leigh, born Jeanette Helen Morrison in 1927 in Merced, California, also knew hardship. Raised during the Great Depression, she helped her struggling family by working odd jobs while excelling in school, graduating high school at 16. Her big break came in 1946 when actress Norma Shearer spotted her photo at a ski resort where her parents worked, catapulting her from college student to MGM starlet overnight. Their love story ignited in 1950 at a publicity event, a spark so intense Debbie Reynolds likened it to fireworks in broad daylight. They eloped in 1951 with Jerry Lewis as their witness, defying Tony's studio, which offered him $30,000 to marry someone else for publicity. But trouble brewed fast. Tony's jealousy flared, fueled by billionaire Howard Hughes's creepy obsession with Janet. Think phone taps, private investigators, and unwanted gifts. Tony even feared for his life, wondering if Hughes might take him out. Yet, amidst the chaos, their careers soared. They starred in 5 films together, like Houdini, which cemented Tony's leading man status, while Janet dazzled in hits like Little Women. By 1958, Tony was the world's film favorite at the Golden Globes, with Janet presenting his award. A picture-perfect moment. Here's where it gets juicy. That letter Tony found in 1955 wasn't just a bump in the road, it was a bombshell that blew their marriage apart. Janet swore there was no affair, but Tony, eaten up by doubt, started seeing other women, including a 17-year-old girl. Neighbors described their fights as a war zone, and the trust shattered. They divorced, but the secrets didn't stop there. Janet's past held its own surprises. 2 failed marriages before age 21, one at 14 that lasted 5 months, another to a Navy man in college. These hidden chapters, buried under her glamorous image, only surfaced later, proving even Hollywood's darlings had skeletons. Meanwhile, Tony's tough past haunted him, a stark contrast to his later fame, while Janet's college grit morphed into a disciplined star who juggled night classes at USC with film sets. Their legacy endured despite the turmoil. Tony kept shining in classics like Some Like It Hot, while Janet pivoted to producing and philanthropy. Their daughter, Jamie Lee Curtis, born from their stormy union, became a star herself, carrying their torch. But let's talk money and glitz. Tony and Janet lived large. Tony rolled up in a fleet of Cadillacs, sleek symbols of his success, while Janet sported high-end watches like the Rolex Pearlmaster, her wrist gleaming with understated elegance. Their real estate game was strong, a Beverly Hills mansion for the Hollywood hustle and a Palm Springs retreat for downtime. Private jets? They had access through studio perks, jetting off in style. Tony poured cash into production companies and endorsements, diversifying his income like a pro, while Janet flipped properties and real estate ventures. Janet's relentless work ethic, honed from teen jobs, kept her grounded as fame swelled her bank account. What can we learn from this wild ride? First, diversify like Tony. Acting, producing, endorsements, he spread his bets and won big. Second, real estate pays off. Janet's property moves built a safety net. Third, insure everything. Health, homes, careers. They knew volatility could strike anytime. Their spending reflected their roots. Tony's flashier style screamed self-made swagger, while Janet's quieter luxury hinted at her practical core. Comparing their broke beginnings to their lavish peaks, it's clear they mastered wealth building through grit and smarts. Their careers, though, didn't crash. They soared to new heights. Janet etched her name in history with Psycho in 1960. That 3-minute shower scene shot over 7 grueling days with chocolate syrup, standing in for the unspeakable. It wasn't just a scream, it was a legacy. She became the original Scream Queen, winning a Golden Globe and an Oscar nod. Tony, shedding his pretty boy image, stunned in sweet smell of success and the defiant ones, chaining himself to Sidney Poitier in a raw, ahead-of-its-time tale that snagged them both Oscar noms. Then came Some Like It Hot in 1959, Tony juggling 3 roles, including a Cary Grant impression he improvised on the spot, turning a wild comedy into a cultural juggernaut. Hook number 2. How did Tony go from a Bronx dreamer to a chameleon who outshone even Marilyn Monroe's sass? But behind the glitz, their personal lives were a mess. Tony's jealousy festered. He'd call Janet's hotel rooms dozens of times a night, convinced she was with Frank Sinatra, even hiring a PI during the Manchurian Candidate shoot. Nothing turned up, but Tony's paranoia didn't care. By 1961, filming Taras Bulba in Argentina, he fell for 17-year-old Christine Kaufman, 19 years his junior. Janet caught wind of it on set and was devastated. They divorced in '62, and Tony moved in with Christine the moment she turned 18. Janet, craving peace, married Brandt, building a 40-year haven away from the spotlight. Tony's life became a carousel of wives. 5 more after Janet, each bringing kids and chaos until his final marriage to a woman 45 years younger. Hook 3. Did Tony's whirlwind romances sink his career, or was he chasing something he'd lost with Janet? Financially, they played different games. Tony's net worth climbed from nothing to $60 million at his peak, fueled by films, production deals, and endorsements. He rolled in style, think Rolls-Royces and Ferraris, while flaunting Patek Philippe watches and snapping up properties like a Bel Air estate. Private jets? Studio perks had him covered. Janet, starting at zero, hit $25 million, her wealth growing through smart real estate flips and acting residuals. She favored subtle luxury, Cartier watches, a Malibu beach house, while ensuring her health, homes, and career like a fortress. Tony's business ventures included art investments, while Janet collaborated on production deals. Today, Tony's estate, tied up by his last wife Jill after he cut his kids out of his will, hovers around $40 million, projected to dip with market shifts. Janet's, managed privately, sits at $20 million, with steady growth from her legacy. Hook 4. How did Janet's quiet smarts outlast Tony's flashy risks? Their daughter Jamie Lee Curtis emerged from the wreckage, a star in her own right. Her 1978 Halloween role nodded to Janet's Psycho scream, and their 1980. The Fog pairing was pure Hollywood poetry. Jamie's 2023 Oscar win for Everything Everywhere all at once proved she wasn't just a legacy kid, she was a force. But Tony's final twist stings. Months before his 2010 death, he rewrote his will, leaving everything to Jill, snubbing his 5 kids. Jamie stayed silent as her sisters sued, a bitter end to a fractured bond. Janet, passing in 2004, left a stable legacy with Brandt. Hook 5. Will Tony's will drama ever reveal its full story, or is Jamie's silence the real finale? From rags to riches, Tony and Janet built empires. Tony's a wild ride, Janet's a steady climb. leaving us hooked on their untamed Hollywood tale.